Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to a new day of daily updates across all of the major dollar pairs. Starting off with DXY on the daily time frame, we can see we've had our break of structure and our current swing range. This is still the low that we're looking at to get taken before we can see any upside continuation. As you can see there, however, price might not actually give us the ideal scenario because we have now broken internally bullish. This is our 4-hour swing structure. We've liquidated these highs, we've made a connection with this supply zone, and if we don't start to see the sell-off now, then we are potentially ready to start targeting the week swing high, as we've now broken internal structure. So what I'll be looking for in the short to medium term is some potential downside on the dollar now. As you can see, we're quite overextended in towards the upside. We're starting to consolidate a little bit. So this short-term downside could just be to liquidate this low before then seeing a drive in towards the upside. However, taking out these lows down here will give a higher probability buy if we get the confirmation. If not, I'd be happy to see us target the daily point of liquidity that we discussed a moment ago. So what does this mean for Euro USD? As you can see on the daily time frame, we've had our break of structuring towards the downside, and this is our current swing range. We've liquidated this high within the overall impulse. This high still remains open and still remains my favored short position. However, as you can see, we are now starting to form some internal order flow on the lower time frame. If we go down onto the 4-hour, what we can see is we have had a 1-hour break of structure now in towards the downside, which is the 4-hour swing internal. As you can see, the 4-hour swing structure is like this. We've had our break of structure, and this is our swing range. We've liquidated this low over here, but it does look like we're going to come down for this low, or maybe this low over here. I believe this low is also a daily point of liquidity that we spoke about last week getting taken before seeing maybe one more drive in towards the upside. So if we go down onto the 1-hour time frame, price has been relatively consolidating this week. We've not really moved. We've had our break of structure, and we've got our swing range. What I was eyeing up yesterday was a potential short after we liquidated this high over here, but I've just not quite seen that momentum kick in, so I'm just not looking to burn my hands at the moment. Finally, with GU, we can see we've got our daily break of structure in towards the upside, and this is our current swing range. We've liquidated all of the available liquidity before switching bullish on the lower time frame. If we move down onto the 4-hour time frame, what we can see is, however, after moving bullish with a break of structure, we've now got a bearish break of structure. So what I'll be looking at now within this current swing range is a potential short from this point of liquidity down to these equal lows over here. I do favour this as the pound is relatively weak at the moment.